Hello, everyone, and welcome to the round of 8 for the Hidden Wit Brewing Company Xfinity Series, presented by Goat Locker Racing. For those who made the cut, they have 2 weeks, 2 races, 2 chances to punch their ticket into the Championship 4 season finale in Texas. Last week, Patrick Drabick made an emphatic statement leading wire to wire, while 3 other drivers leapfrogged the cut line to find their way into the next round of the playoffs. Can they do it again? Stay tuned as we head west. It's Xfinity Series Racing under the lights at Auto Club, next on V-Speed. Hello once again, race fans, and welcome inside the V-Speed broadcast booth alongside Jacob Lenke. I'm Corey Smith with Eddie Smith in the truck. Jacob, we're deep here in the playoffs, only 2 weeks and 2 races stand between us and crowning a champion in Texas. What's the pressure like for these drivers, and how do you approach a track like Auto Club where you can run multiple lines and multiple strategies, but there's just no room for mistakes at this point? What goes through your head as a driver?
What goes through my head as a driver is I need to figure out where the guys in front of me are wanting to run. We're able to run the top, like keep it flat out almost entirely throughout the track, or I can duck down, save tires, and stay myself in the draft.
Well, we're going to see how the drivers play it here. We have a 22-car field. Jamie Barkas is going to lead them down into the restart zone, and we're underway from Auto Club. You can see a big push going down into turn 1 from Drabick. Clark's going to lead him into turn 1. Is he going to be able to clear Barkas? Looks like he will. Coming out of turn 2. Barkas looks to the inside at the door, takes the low line into turn 3. Who's going to lead lap number 1? Clark gets loose and runs up the track. Oh! McCarty nearly avoids contact, and Clark definitely is going to lose spots. Lost 7 or 8 already. And it's going to be Jamie Barkas who leads lap 1 going into turns 1 and 2.
Yeah, but don't look now. We got Levi McCarty ripping the top just like he did at Kansas. He's going to have a major run down the backstretch with the draft to boot.
Barkas by about 4 car lengths as Levi McCarty closes, capitalizing on Clark's mistake. It's going to be McCarty taking the high line in 3 and 4. Going to have the run coming off into the front straightaway at the end of lap number 2.
Meanwhile, we got Andy Kurtz slotting back into the P3 position. Catbird's seat watching these two starting to fight for the position.
Side by side into turn 1. McCarty's making the high line work early. Will it pay off, or is it going to eat up too much tire?
I'm thinking it's good to run the top at this early stage right now, get some distance, get some speed in it, get the track position, but you're going to want to start saving at some point.
Well, the fuel window here is about 40 to 45 laps. We'll see how the drivers can manage, and if we could stay green with about a double the field we had last week. So we'll have to see if that gives us more opportunity for some more yellows.
Yep, we got 19 cars on track at the moment, and this is a very it's a momentum-based track, but you've also got the play of the draft as well on the front and back stretch.
As these drivers settle in, it's going to be McCarty, now your leader. Opened up about
Patrick Drabick.
Sorry, go ahead.
Patrick Drabick opting to settle in behind Andy Kurtz. I think he's just wanting to ride it out for this first fuel run here, see if he can just coast on, maybe save a little bit of fuel, save tires while he's at it.
Well, a lot of these guys will be looking to try to get to lap 30, and if we get a caution after lap 30, you can pretty much throw the strategy out the window. But for now, everybody's just kind of settled in. McCarty has about 10 lengths lead on Barkas. Looking about 40 laps or so on the gas, if they can save their tires.
Yep, he's got half a second on P2 right now, but they're just in that window to be able to catch on to his draft.
5 laps in the books. McCarty continues to lead.
Doesn't look like anybody's wanting to shake up what they got going right here, because if somebody decides they want to start side drafting, it could go south real quick. And by that, I mean just pull them right back through the field. Regis Clark has stopped the bleeding. He seems to have settled in the 6th position. He's got Christopher Morris, Jake Ellingson, and Chris Sawyer rounding out the top 10 behind him.
Well, the top 10 single file, running about 2 seconds apart from 1st to 10th. As we see the 91 Daniel Cunningham trying the low line. He's going to try a move on Patrick Drabick. Doesn't look like it's going to work, and he might lose a little bit to Lucas Lyons, but he slots back up. No harm, no foul. Gets a push from Lyons.
Yep, definitely want to get line back up. Don't want to make too many drastic moves this early in the race, especially if it means losing that front group.
There's your top 6 right there.
Drabick trying to look for a move into the tri-oval on Lyons, nothing doing. And Cunningham's going for a move on P5 right now, trying to get Lyons put behind him.
Lyons is going to have the runoff on turn 2 of the high line, and it looks like he's going to clear Cunningham going down the backstretch.
And as everybody slots back into line, we're going to see whether or not anybody's wanting to run to develop, exiting into the tri-oval. Everybody's looking like they're going organized, staying in line right now. Top 6 on forward.
Well, here comes Lyons down on the apron. Is he going to make a move to the inside? Looks like he is. Can he make it stick, or is he going to lose all his momentum coming out of 2?
There's not a gap, but he's going to try and catch a side draft on Patrick, but he's just got too big of a run, and I think Cunningham might want to capitalize. No.
Yeah, Dravick's got the help of Andy Kurtz, and I don't think he's going to have to try something else as he tries the high line going into 3 and 4.
The top 4 have got tire saving on the mind right now. They want this to, clatter the wall.
That's a good save by Lucas Lyons. He brushed the wall coming out of 4, but held it together, and he's not going to lose any spots yet.
Yep,
Kurt smacks the wall coming out of 2. It looks like he might lose a couple spots.
He may have damage
Jamie Barkis is going to challenge for the lead.
He's not going to have the run. Levi McCarty expertly running the top as he has all season long.
McCarty made up some ground on that one, or excuse me, Barkis made up some ground on that one. Can Barkis get side by side into 1 and 2? Doesn't look like it. McCarty stretched it back out to about 4 or 5 lengths.
It looks like Kurtz has recovered from his wall clap, but not before Christopher Morse starts challenging for his position right now.
Well, there's no fast repairs here in the Hidden Wit Brewing Company Xfinity Series, so making sure you have a car that can finish the race is definitely priority 1 above all else.
Yep, what they want to do right now is just keep it in line. Don't make any drastic moves. Just keep it civil for the time being, and then make your moves either into the pit cycle or toward the end of the race.
11 and a half laps down, and McCarty's led the last 10 or so. Apparently clean air is the strategy for him tonight.
There's no secret that 18 Machine's got speed in it. We've seen him. He hasn't finished outside the top 5 since Kentucky, if you can believe it. And that's only because he finished 6th.
Well, with this playoff format, it definitely rewards winning and consistency. And if you can't win, consistency can really help. As you can see here, here's the current round of 8. We saw Drabick win his way in in dominating fashion at Richmond last week. And then we also saw Ellingson, Pendleton, and Jewel, like I mentioned at the top of the show, leapfrog their way over the cut line and put 3 other people that were in the top 8 out of the playoffs. So anything can happen here. We got 2 races to determine who our championship 4 are going to be. And, well, we got 8 drivers with a chance to punch their ticket in tonight and just take it easy next week, I guess, and get ready for Texas.
It was super fun calling the race between Ryan Pendleton and the ghost of Michael Kostick. I'm very glad that it worked out in Pendleton's favor. It was an unprecedented position that he was in for the playoffs, and everything worked out in favor for him, and he's here to challenge it.
And Jamie Barkas is going to make a move out of 2 for the lead. I wonder if Levi McCarty has an issue already, or if he's just saying, you know what, I'm going to give you a chance to take it. Let's take a look at the replay of the pass here. And yep, McCarty just caught a little bit of the wall. Real easy to do that. It's such a fast and wide racetrack.
Yep, cooked it a little too hard, run on the top.
Now he's faded back to 3rd.
And Patrick Drabick is right behind his teammate, right where he wants to be. McCarty's ripping that top like he's been known to do, trying to get some momentum. He's got the wall
McCarty's
again.
Back in the wall. Well,
this time he's going to see to.
Wonder if he pushed it too hard with that initial clean air after leading the first dozen laps or so. But now it's Jamie Barkas out by 5. Patrick Drabick in 2nd. Dale Cunningham running out the top 3.
Not just yet. McCarty's still got that top lane. He's going to have momentum into 1 and exiting onto the backstretch.
Barkas ran the fastest lap of everyone there, up on the teammate by a 100th, and then up on McCarty by 0.3.
Andy Kurtz has recovered nicely, back into the 5th position. Still got an 8-car group right here, up in the top section of the draft, rounded out by Jake Ellingson fighting with Lucas Lyons.
The number 91 of Daniel Cunningham trying to keep his Chevrolet out in front of Levi McCarty, who is just all over Daniel Cunningham right now, and he's going to take 3rd place at the line.
Yep.
Barkas and Drabick lead with as we're 16 laps in right now. Nighttime settling in nicely. Track temps cooling off. I think it's a very nice 69 degrees outside. Track temperature only 72, so you're going to see a lot of speed, especially as the race continues on and the track cools off.
And
here comes Drabick down low looking for the lead. And we'll clear and get up in front, but it's going to be Barkas to the bottom, back up to the top, and we'll fall in line. Drabick's going to lead a lap.
Meanwhile, we got 3rd through 6th side by side going into 1 right here. We got Cunningham on the inside. McCarty's still trying to rip that top with Kurtz tagging along behind him.
Now with the number 81, Christopher Morris going after McCarty, trying to get 4th place. Not going to get it, and now the 48 of Kurtz is back up into 4th place.
And Christopher Morris using the bottom line and its advantage to get that momentary position to slide up in front of Kurtz there. We're getting super tight up here, and I think Jake Ellingson's trying to capitalize.
Riding on board with Andy Kurtz right now as Andy Kurtz tries to get up into 5th place. Christopher Morse Jr. says, nope, you're not going to take the bottom. I'm going to keep that for myself.
And with it, he'll keep P5 running right behind that Gravedigger machine of McCarty.
Well, Patrick Drabick, who, again, dominated last week by leading 95 laps at Richmond. Drabick and Barkas are starting to check out a little bit. They're a half second out ahead of Daniel Cunningham. top three single file, but you see fourth through seventh fighting each other 2 wide.
Yep, Morris pulling that side draft on McCarty, even though he's ripping the top. I think we're reaching the point where the tires are starting to get a little bit more heat in them, to where it's going to start getting a bit trickier to rip that top. That's why you're seeing him run the bottom so often.
Well, don't look now, because back in seventh, Jacob Ellickson is on the back of that second pack, welcoming his way into the top 10 and saying, hey, let me into this party.
Yep, he's been playing it quiet, playing it safe. Jake hasn't had the best luck this season, and I feel like he's going to have a great run here tonight if he keeps it going the way he has.
Well, you're right on board with him right now, and you can see he is just relaxed, but he is locked in at the same time. Looks like he caught a little bit of the wall and got a little frustrated with himself, but he's doing all right. He's hanging in there. 7th place. I don't think that's the highest you'll see him tonight. I think you'll see him up front when the night's over.
Yep, cooler heads prevail. Speaking of which, if I'm Drabick and Barkas, I don't want to get too far ahead, because like all it takes is a little bit of tire save, a little bit of cohesion between the rest of the top 10, and they could be caught in a moment. As I say that, Daniel Cunningham is right on the back bumper of Barkas.
Well, don't look now. Ellingson making his move on Andy Kurtz. Coming out of turn 2. Is he going to get it? They're side by side. McCarty's going to go down, and they're going to each pick up a draft. They're 2x2 going down the back straightaway into turn 3.
Advantage Morris and Kurtz with that top line momentum, but the momentary move is Levi McCarty getting right back in front of that 81 machine.
Yeah, McCarty faded back up into Morris, cut him off. Morris going to try a couple moves, but they're going to end up just single file across the start-finish line. Ellingson now working on Lucas Lyons, and Lyons runs it up top, going to try to get that run off of 2 to make sure he keeps his spot.
Andy Kurtz gets a nose just in there to keep Ellingson from going back up top on him. He could have switched it back if Ellingson got the position, but I feel like it would have just been the same result no matter what. We got Levi McCarty continuing his battle with Christopher Morris. Morris takes 4th at the moment and has cleared him.
Well, back at the front, Patrick Drabick has stretched his lead out to 3/10 on Jamie Barkas, and Daniel Cunningham is starting to catch Jamie Barkas.
Yep, he's secured nicely right behind the 15 machine. He is, like I said, they don't have to do much at this point. Cunningham's going to try and throw them off of their momentum as much as he can, just to shake that rhythm and get past Barkas to see if he can make a challenge at Drabick.
You're on board right now with Jamie Barkas as you see Daniel Cunningham biding his time, saying, where do I make my move? I don't know if he's content with running the 3rd place or if he wants to get up there, but he is circling his prey.
Yeah, he is locked.
Barkas and Cunningham have caught Patrick Drabick, and now it's a 3-car race for first place.
We got McCarty in the wall back there. Ellingson trying to capitalize down below.
Oh, I think Ellingson might have given him a little touch. I don't know if it was on purpose or not, or if McCarty just caught the wall. But either way, at the end of the day, Jake Ellingson is going to take the position from Levi McCarty, who's going to exhale and restart. Oh, and into the wall is Ellingson.
Trading blows back and forth with the wall is McCarty and Ellingson. It's a heck of a battle right here for P6 in the running order. They have, prior to that, they had checked out by about 8/10 over, Drabick had checked out about 8/10 over Lucas Lyons, but now Lyons has just enough of that sniff of air off of the 27th machine to get back in it.
Now back at the lead, Barkas was just slightly faster than Drabick that last lap. Cunningham was a bit slower than both of them.
As we got 2 more cars pulling right back up into this lead conversation. We've got Christopher Morris and Andy Kurtz right behind Cunningham, which pulls them ever so closer to P1 and P2.
Well, you're on board with Andy Kurtz right there. Now taking a look at the 91 of Daniel Cunningham as he tries the low line to try to get a little bit of momentum made up on Barkas and Drabick. First through fifth spread out over about a half second. You can see the 81 and the 48 trying to run that high line. It's hard to do that. It's hard to run right behind somebody. You just lose all that downforce, and you can see the 81 touching the wall there again. It's just so hard to get all that downforce to get your car rotated.
It might have paid off because he kept the momentum and got right back onto Cunningham's bumper, and he's got the inside on him now. Kurt's staying up top, and I think he's going to have a good toe behind Cunningham to pull past the 81 here.
Kurtz might have a little momentum. He's going to use it. He's not going to try to go around, but he's going to push the 91 of Daniel Cunningham into third and try to clear so he can take fourth. Doesn't quite work.
Yep, Morse ain't
Here
done
comes
yet.
Morse going to come in and take third place. He manages to make the low line work on that time. But it's Cunningham has the momentum. Cunningham's got the momentum. He's going to bring Kurtz with him. Is Kurtz going to look high and make it 3 wide? Looks like he is. We're going to be 3 wide coming out of 2.
I don't think that's going to happen. I think Kurtz is going to tuck right in behind Morse and give him a push so they can both get past the 91 who's been...
And that's exactly what he does, and they're both going to clear Cunningham going into turn 3. Cunningham has no choice but to run the low line. We'll have to see if it works for him, but it looks like... Oh, yep, and it looks like Morse and Kurtz are both going to clear Cunningham. And that's going to drop Cunningham back to 5th.
Yep, a little bit of shuffle in the running order, but the top two stay the same right here as Drabick and Barkas have got about a half second over the next position.
Yeah, Drabick managed to open up about another 10th over Barkas on that last lap. He's stretched it out to over half a second now. $30 laps going to be in the books this time as they cross the stripe. That means we're looking at green flag pit stops in the next 5 to 10 laps. I would expect a lot of these guys to pit around lap 35 and split this exactly in half.
Meanwhile, we got a couple newcomers into the top 10. P7, Jeremy Gardner. P8, Chris Sawyer. P9, Jamie Lipke. And P10, beneficiary of last week, Ryan Pendleton. The 69 of Jeremy Gardner gaining fast.
Well, just because this is the first time you've heard his name tonight does not mean that he does not belong in the top order of this race. He does very well in a lot of series for Goat Locker Racing, not just the Hidden Wit Brewing Company Xfinity Series. Making good playoff runs in the Cruising Classics Next Gen Series that you can watch tomorrow night on Goat Locker Racing.
Yep, Gardner's just ever so slowly cutting that time down. We got a pit stop. It's Regis Clark bringing it in first. And he has got a speeding penalty he's going to have to serve after he makes his stop here.
Short of a caution coming out now, I think that's going to be pretty much a
Andy missed his box.
Death sentence on his race. This is a very long pit road on a very long track. But, you know, it's only a 40-second lap here, so it is so easy to go down and never come down. If he can be the only one a lap down, he might be all right. But four drivers total have made their pit stops. Lucas Lyons, Levi McCarty, Kevin Price, and Regis Clark. Levi McCarty had the best pit stop so far. Looks like everybody on a 4-tire strategy with a full tank of gas, you might as well. No real advantage to 2 tires at this point in the race.
Yep, fill it all the way back up. You're good to the end. He's going to try and claw his way back up there to get his lap back.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll have to see how it goes after the cycle, but I think right now after the cycle, you're going to see Patrick Drabick still out front.
Yep, Patrick Drabick.
Lucas Lyons is motoring his way back up on those fresh tires, trying to get his lap back before Dravic goes down for his pit stop.
Dravic having broken out a 1.7 second gap over P2. Andy Kurtz now gets around Barkas. Levi McCarty taking it 3 wide on those fresh tires. He's going to have a heck of a run into one.
Ryan Pendleton is coming in for his service. Oh, and my goodness. Oh, wow. The 71 of Lucas Lyons just barely missing, running right through Patrick Drabick. That was almost costly for our leader. As you can see, here comes Ryan Pendleton for his service.
We're going to watch this here once Lyons gets to the back of Dravic.
With that tire advantage, he was there. He got there and it took all 4 brakes to make sure he get through. And Patrick Drabick is now on pit road, but he brings others with him. 5 cars on pit road so far.
Chris Morris, Chris Sawyer.
George Jewell, Charles Abert as well. And then Frederick Seagraves Jr. also coming in for service. So very busy time on pit road. No mistakes. This deep in the playoffs. So with that, Andy Kurtz is going to take the lead until he comes in for his service.
In theory, he's got a little under 10 laps to make his decision on whether or not he's coming in now, as we see Barkas coming into the pits at this time.
Currently 10 cars on the lead lap. As Christopher Morse goes a lap down, exiting pit road.
I think the undercut might have worked to McCarty's favor here, because he's currently got a 2-second lead over Dravic, but Dravic has just a couple of laps fresher tires.
Well, Patrick Drabik's going to end up with the advantage here because he's got 5 lap newer tires, and if this thing goes green all the way, then I definitely say it will be advantage Patrick Drabick. Here comes the Andy Kurtz machine, and he'll relinquish the lead to Daniel Cunningham. Still 10 cars on the lead lap, as the people that have already pitted are now getting their laps back.
Yep, we saw Christopher Morris get past there just then, and you got Jeremy Gardner challenging up the top. Cunningham coming in for his pit stop now.
Jeremy Gardner is going to assume the lead now, but he's in for service as well. It's going to be Jacob Ellingson in the lead.
Yep, Ellingson keeping that top line momentum that he had got. And we got Barkas on fresh tires coming up to spoil the fun on both of them.
As you see, Andy Kurtz fading in up after his pit stop.
Yep, trying to get some heat into that fresh rubber with the leaders right behind him.
And here comes Jeremy Gardner for his service. That's going to leave Jacob Ellingson out for the lead. And only 2 cars haven't pitted. That's Jacob Ellingson and Logan Sturgeon, the only 2 remaining.
Ellingson's going to have to make a decision here soon. I don't think the overcut is going to work as good as the heavy undercut that McCarty, Lyons, and Drabick had made at the beginning.
Well, the eventual race for the lead after the pit cycle is going to be, it looks like, Patrick Drabick third, Lucas Lyons second, Levi McCarty first. But again, still got Ellingson.
Oh, don't look now. contact between Lucas Lyons and Patrick Drabick, like you said, that's going to be a run for second once everything shakes out, and that's going to make McCarty drive away even more if they keep fighting like this. I don't think Pat's too happy with that move in particular. Lyons going to try and slot. Go ahead.
Surely he's not too happy with him, but he's got 8-lap newer tires, and he's already in front of him, so I imagine he'll leave him, and that'll probably be the end of that. But we're only a caution away from absolute havoc, so McCarty still in third with a 1.6 second gap on Drabick.
Meanwhile, Jacob Ellingson, Logan Sturgeon still the only two cars that haven't pitted in this race thus far. The window is very slowly coming to a close, and I think the overcut might just hurt him even more the longer he goes here.
Well, it's certainly a strategy. If you catch the caution, then you're in great shape. You get a couple points for leading some laps, and you got to take a stab at it. It's just that time of the year. It's the playoffs in the Hidden Wit Brewing Company Xfinity Series, and you got to do whatever it takes to win, and sometimes you got to take a shot. Doesn't always work. Logan Sturgeon coming down to pit road. He's going to come get his 4 tires and 18 gallons of fuel, and that's going to leave Jake Ellingson as the only car left on the pit cycle. So that puts Levi McCarty, the Air leader, in second place, followed by Patrick Drabick about a half second behind, Lucas Lyons 3 seconds behind them, and Pendleton and Kurtz and Barkas a few seconds behind them. Here comes Jake Ellingson down to pit road, and that's going to finish our green flag pit stops. Everybody should be good on fuel the rest of the way.
Yep, we got the battle for the lead settling out right now. We got Patrick Drabick, Levi McCarty having inherited after that full cycle is finished up. Drabick on a tear trying to get to the back bumper of McCarty. These two have fought so many times throughout this season. It hasn't been one-sided. McCarty's still ripping that top line with that momentum. He's going to have the tow from Drabick here.
Well, Drabick did pit 5 laps later, so, he had a little bit more tire to use up to go there on the bottom and could hold it just a little more wide open, and he made it work, and now he's got the lead back.
It's the battle for fourth right here. Andy Kurtz fending off a hungry Jamie Barkas. He was one of the playoff drivers that missed last week, so he's definitely wanting to get some sort of rebound out of this season as Ryan Pendleton toes in behind his teammate.
We're looking at the battle for fourth. The battle for fourth is a whopping 5.5 seconds behind the leader, but they've still got time if they can make it up. Kurtz and Barkas have newer tires than everyone in front of them by a small margin. Lyons has by far the oldest tires in the top 12. We're going to see how that strategy plays out.
Yep. Lucas Lyons having to manage a 3-second gap behind Levi McCarty here as he's got... Is he slow exiting 2 there? Or is he just wanting to get the cars around him so they can group up together, get some tow, and then try and chase down McCarty and Drabick?
I'm not quite sure what the strategy there is. He might just be letting them go. He might be off the pace for something else. He might have taken some suspension damage if he was making contact with the wall, but he's definitely a little bit slower.
Yep, he's going to get past.
He's just a little tight. He's already got 20 laps on those tires, whereas Patrick Drabick and Andy Kurtz and Jamie Barkas have less than a dozen.
It looks like everything's calmed down for the moment back here. Third, fourth, fifth, sixth, all running within a second of each other for the most part. Meanwhile, we got George Jewell breaking out into the top 10.
Nice run for him. He had a pretty clean pit road. You can see he's rooting for his Tampa Bay Lightning here for the postseason. If you go all the way back to the leader, Patrick Drabick, I don't know if somebody forgot to tell him he's not at Richmond anymore. Because he is gone. He is 3 1/4 seconds up on Levi McCarty. And then McCarty's about a second and a half ahead of Andy Kurtz in the 48. But then it's Barkas, Pendleton, and Lyons again, all fighting each other.
Massive send by Jamie Libke down there, trying to get past both Jewell and Abert for one shot. Nothing doing. Charles Abert going to have a run exiting onto the tri-oval, but they choose to push Libke instead. They're wanting that 10th spot.
Well, there's only 2 races in the round of 8. And if you want to get into that championship 4, there's still 2 spots to point your way in. And you can see these points are mattering here this late in the season.
Absolutely. Bonus points factoring in and all. Libke pushing, keeping it up top on George Jewell. Looked like they were trying to just keep it as close to the wall as they could on exit, keep all of that momentum, keep all 4 tires on the ground. Ends up netting them the top 10.
That was certainly a nice pass. There's a good look at Levi McCarty, who's almost 4 seconds back now of Patrick Drabick, as Patrick Drabick has absolutely checked out.
Yep,
Kurtz right behind him, looking to make a move. Kurtz is on 7-lap newer tires than McCarty, trying to make him work, and he's down low and going to take the low line into 1 and 2.
Yep, no contest right there unless Levi McCarty wants to try and get that toe right back to Kurtz and then keep fighting for it once they get back up closer to each other. Jamie Barkas starting to peek into this battle as whoa! Minor disappearing act from the lap car of Noah Hogard. I think he's just going to lay back and let Barkas pass here. Or Barkas is going to use him to keep the toe so he can get all the way up to McCarty to get that 3rd spot.
Well, and I think Hogard, wise of the situation, realizes this is not his fight, and he's just going to hang out behind them. Smart move at this point of the race. Hogard is the second car a lap down in front, behind Logan Sturgeon. So a couple of cautions, he's right back in it. So no need to take yourself out when you're in a pretty precarious position right now.
Especially when it means fighting for a podium. And for McCarty, it's points. For Barkas, it's a little bit of redemption. As I mentioned before, they were one of the drivers that were going into this next round when it came to Richmond. However, I don't know what happened there. It's like everybody's got their own things that need to take precedence over iRacing. But Barkas is definitely wanting to get back up to the front here.
And 19 cars started the race. We were down to 17. We lost Christopher Morris Jr. and we lost Regis Clark. Regis Clark had a little damage, and then the issues on pit road put a nail in the coffin on his day, so he decided to retire. And then we got Hogard and Price a lap down, and now we are racing with Levi McCarty and Jamie Barkas for 3rd and 4th. As you can see, Jamie Barkus rocking the Hidden Wit Brewing Company paint scheme, title sponsor of the series. If you're ever in the Richmond, Virginia area, I highly encourage you to go there. You ever been to Richmond there, Linky?
I don't think I've ever been to Virginia.
Oh, Richmond's very nice. Richmond's very nice. You ever need a beer, make sure you go to Hidden Wit. They got loaded cheesesteak fries, so make sure you get a order of those. That'll make everything better in your life.
I will keep that in mind as Jamie Barkus makes a move to the inside of Levi McCarty here for the third spot. Signed, sealed, delivered. McCarty might try to make another move on him. No. Pushes a little high on exit, gets a little more momentum, but I think the position may very well and truly be Barkus. Oh! Cuts the nose off the 18 going into 1.
Well, things getting hot and heavy here in the last 25 laps. As things start to wind down, you got to feel like Patrick Drabick and Andy Kurtz are quite a ways out there, but Barkus and McCarty realize that there's still a lot of points to be had up here for third.
Yep, and don't look now. The battle for third has just got another player in it as we got the 69 of Jeremy Gardner. Where did he come from?
Well, as we mentioned earlier, he moonlights in a lot of different series, and he's a contender in pretty much any car he gets into. So just biding his time, and he's ready to make his moves, and he knows exactly what he's doing. He's ready to strike, and apparently the time is now with 25 to go.
Yep, McCarty keeping position up top there. Jeremy having saved a majority of his tires to this point.
Gardner's got the freshest tires in the top 5. He's got 5 lap newer tires than Drabick. So if he can make up, that 5.5 seconds, at the end he'll have the fresher tires for the finish.
Meanwhile, the gap is kind of stalled out right now between Drabick and Kurtz. In fact, I think Kurtz might be reeling it in a little bit. I saw it go down to about 3 seconds when they were in the corners there. Yeah, definitely. Lost about a tenth there.
Yeah, he's pulled in about almost a second over about the last 5 laps. He's running about a tenth here, tenth there faster than Patrick Drabick, the leader. But again, we are winding down. We're closing in on 22 to go. Is there enough time at this point, or is Patrick Drabick's lead just too much?
What I do know is Jeremy Gardner is taking full advantage of that fresher rubber to try and get to Barkus for that podium. We've got the lap car, I apologize, soon-to-be lap car of Logan Sturgeon in the sights of Patrick Drabick.
Sturgeon's got a little bit newer rubber, but just not the drive-off speed in the corners, and I think his time is coming to an end on the lead lap, and that'll get us down to 14.
Yep, not the race that he was looking for to...
And here's Barkus, Gardner, and McCarty again fighting for third. Barkus holding them off for the moment, but those are 2 fast cars behind him, and it's just a matter of time before somebody's going to start getting some bumper applied to him.
I think we might see that within a lap here because McCarty's right back to ripping that top, trying to get as much momentum on exit as he can, and Gardner seems to have all the answers while still reeling in Barkus.
Here's the view from Barkus' car looking back at the Chevrolet Camaro of Jeremy Gardner and the Toyota Supra of Levi McCarty.
Gardner keeps rolling that bottom, getting the momentum onto Barkus, trying to challenge for another move here.
Faked a bump draft and went low, and it's going to pay off. He's going to run the low line and might have the momentum to clear.
Barkus might challenge on exit here, and meanwhile, we've got Levi McCarty still trying to rip that top to get back up to him. Gardner, P3.
Had just enough coming out of 4, slid up in front of Barkus and holds the lead. Gardner's got the rubber to make the lower line work, about a lane and a half off the bottom into turn 1 and 2. They are starting to catch Andy Kurtz.
Yep, that gap to Drabic has once again stalled out, and I think he's just trying to run his race, stop the bleeding as much as he can, get out of here with a P2.
There's Andy Kurtz pretty much running by himself, as he's got 3.5 seconds to the leader, Drabic, in front of him, and he's got 1.5 seconds, almost 2 seconds to Jeremy Gardner behind. But that 2 seconds is quickly eroding, and Jeremy Gardner is coming.
Don't look now. We've got another player in that furball for third. Daniel Cunningham has caught these guys, and he's trying to make a move on McCarty exiting into the tri-oval.
Well, Daniel Cunningham pitted the same lap as Jeremy Gardner, so they're the ones with the fresher rubber. They obviously saw that this race had the potential to go green wire to wire, and they strategized for that.
Which I will say, props to everybody that's participating in this race right now. It's a wide track. It's a very wide open 2-miler. You're going to want to, just looking in front of you and seeing the miscues and missteps by people in front of you, you're going to be like, yeah, I want to make that move. And just keeping a cool head and not making the move is definitely attributed to us being 6 to go, having gone green the entire time.
5.5 laps to go for Patrick Drabic. Can he make it 2 in a row? He's got a 3.25 second lead on Andy Kurtz. You can see the dogfight for 4th still happening between Barkus, Cunningham, and McCarty, as Cunningham's going to come down and try to get around McCarty. Is he going to clear?
I think McCarty's going to have the best of him going into one
there
here.
at the start-finish line. McCarty's still clear. Nobody wrecked. But Cunningham lost a little bit of momentum there, but he's going to try to make it work and get it back on the low side.
Keep that drag on the bottom. Barkus is watching this, be like, please, keep fighting each other. I want this P4 bad.
McCarty coming back up, going to try to get some momentum off the top and get past Cunningham. It looks like he has it. He's got Barkus in front of him, giving him the draft, and Levi McCarty's going to go down low, make it too wide, run the low side on Barkus.
McCarty with a
huge dive and going to clear. Barkus might look low, and he does.
That he is trading it back and forth. Cunningham going to go with Barkus down low here. McCarty going to keep.
McCarty's going to go with Old Reliable at the top. Going to come back with the momentum, get around Cunningham, take Barkus with him. But Barkus gets slowed up by trying to maintain that line, and Cunningham is forced to retreat. McCarty is forced to retreat. 3 laps to go.
Cunningham sneaks underneath the 15 for that P4 position, and now we got another player in here. Jake Ellingson has caught these 3.
It's a 4-car battle for 4th as Drabic, Kurtz, and Gardner are doing their own things off in the distance as Drabic comes out of turn 4 for 2 to go. Cunningham comes on the high side around Barkas. Looks like he'll clear. Comes down in front of Barkas. Barkas is going to try to stay down low on his own lane. Ellingson now joining the party, going to get around McCarty going into turn 1. Lots of momentum. Ellingson has the run off of Barkas, but can he get up there and clear?
Oh, we lost Gardner. Jeremy Gardner pitted with 2 laps to go.
My goodness, we'll have to do some investigating on that one. But here comes Patrick Drabick, going to take the white flag. 1 lap to go here at Auto Club. Patrick Drabick got a 3 1/4 second on Andy Kurtz in second. 6.5 seconds back is Daniel Cunningham in third. And he's the leader of the third place freight train of 4 cars. Patrick Drabick out of 2 down the back straightaway for the final time.
We got a heck of a battle shaping up for third still. Daniel Cunningham only got 0.2 over Jake Ellingson.
Patrick Drabick going to come out of 4. Patrick Drabick is going to punch his way into the championship 4. He's going to Texas. Patrick Drabick wins at Auto Club. Heck of a race going on for third place. Now you got Daniel Cunningham. It looked like Cunningham managed to hold it off at the end. What a finish for third. So here comes Ellingson. Huge run out of 4. Fakes high. Comes down low. Takes the apron. Cunningham comes down. Ooh, just barely got it. Well, we're going to have to catch our breaths after that one. And when we come back from our little break, we're going to talk to our winner, Patrick Drabick.
A thriving job market and low cost of living, plus a wide range of veteran benefits, make Indiana the perfect place for veterans of the United States military to call home. InVets can help you find that home. We're an organization started by veterans to help former service members transition to civilian life in our state. InVets can help you find the community with the career opportunities, housing, schools, and amenities that fit your lifestyle. To learn more about InVets, visit us at invets.org today.
Welcome back to Auto Club after another dominating performance by Patrick Drabick. Led 45 laps, but really, if you take out the pit cycle, he led most of it. Running through the results here, Patrick Drabick punching his way into the championship for Texas. Then we got, Andy Kurtz, Daniel Cunningham, Jake Ellingson, and Jamie Barkas rounding out your top 5. 6th was Levi McCarty. 7th, Ryan Pendleton. Jamie Lipke ends up with a nice 8th place finish in their Toyota Supra. George Jewell and Chris Sawyer round out your top 10.
Charles Aber brings it home on 11th. Lucas Lyons, after that awesome battle up in the front settles for P12. Frederick Seagraves Jr. in the 09 P13. Logan Sturgeon, your first driver, 1 lap down in 14th. Noah Hogard, 15th. Kevin Price, 16th. Jeremy Gardner, after almost getting it back up into the top 3, ends up 2 laps down in 17th. And then Chris Morse, 18th. Regis Clark, 19th. And yep, that will finish out the drivers that took the track. They did not finish.
All right, well, let's talk to our winner, Patrick Dravick. Patrick, well, what do we say about that? You led 45 laps. You were seemed like you were uncatchable after the pit cycle. What was your strategy tonight? And how did you get
the damn race? That's the strategy. My strategy was to win the damn race so I could lock into the championship for it. But no, it's just being smooth here at Auto Club. Some guys like to run the high line. I typically don't like doing that. I prefer to get it down low, save a little bit of tire. If you could really take care of that right front tire, it'll pay dividends in the long run. And at the end of that first long run, I started to step away from everybody. Cut the strategy in half, decided to pit halfway through the thing, knowing some guys were going to run long. So I was kind of watching some times there at the end when it started to level off and kind of knew I was going to be able to bring this victory home here tonight.
Well, the strategy of not overcomplicating the pits and splitting it right in half seemed to pay off with no cautions. Who would you like to thank, and who would you like to tell us about?
Well, all you fine people up in the broadcast booth this week, this is freaking phenomenal to see. I see Mike McCarthy and Jacob Lindkey, and of course you as well, and Eddie Smith not doing anything as usual. So I think that's pretty freaking phenomenal. But man, it is so awesome to park this Hidden Wit Brewery Chevy Camaro back in victory lane again for the 4th time this season. It's such a thrill for me to be able to win against the competition that's here tonight. Andy Kurtz was fast, Dan Cunningham. My teammates were doing really, really well tonight as well. Jake with a phenomenal finish here this evening, and then Jeremy Gardner as well. But Lega Tech, got to thank them. Huge sponsor of ours, and we got the big car show coming up with them at the end of June. Save 22, what an amazing organization. Had a couple phone calls with them this week. Everybody's gearing up for the hike here in about a week and a half. And then the Indiana Department of Veterans Affairs and, the gracious grant that they gave us. As a matter of fact, I spent all day today and probably all day tomorrow writing another grant for them as so we can get some more funding in to do what we do around here. So now, thanks to my teammates, thanks to this Xfinity League and this great group of drivers here tonight. I mean, everybody was courteous, and feels good to lock into that championship 4 and try to defend this title again.
All right. Well, Patrick Dravick back to back and heading to Texas. Jacob?
Next, we get to talk to our second place finisher, Andy Kurtz. Andy, it's Jake in the booth. You got us?
Hey, man, what's up?
During that pit cycle, did you think that you were able to run it out a little longer, thinking that you were making up time on that pit stop?
Yeah, I think so. I probably should have pit 1 lap. Probably should have pit 1 lap sooner, and also not smoke the wall out of turn 2 a couple laps before that to lose a bunch of time on Pat. But yeah, I was hoping to just catch them on newer tires there at the end, which I was doing a little bit, but it kind of leveled out there last couple laps. So just trying to hunt around, find something, but just couldn't quite find it. So congrats to Pat. He put on a clinic tonight.
Yep, and despite that gap, you maintained it really well, especially the one back to third. It was really good to see that speed in the 48. Who do you have to thank for bringing the 48 home on the podium?
Yeah, man. Yeah, thank you. Thank you guys for doing the broadcast tonight. I'm looking forward to going back. Eddie always does an awesome job, but cool to see and hear some new voices up in the booth. So looking forward to watching this one back. Thank all of our sponsors, partners at Goat Locker, helping us put this on, Jam Printing and Promotions, and Alexander PCs for helping us.
All right, congratulations, and thank you very much, sir.
Thanks, man.
Next, we got our third place finisher, Daniel Cunningham. Daniel, wow, you definitely might have worked the hardest out of anybody tonight, but you came out of that 4-car scramble, the better of the 4, and you took home third place. How'd you do it?
Um, yeah, it was definitely a bit of a struggle. For whatever reason, I love this track, but it's just not my best track with the Xfinity car. So I was kind of struggling a little bit. I should give a shout out to Jeremy Gardner. He's the whole reason that I finished on the podium, aside from the fact that he pulled off at the end. But when we cycled out of the pits, I cycled out right behind him, and I was able to kind of see the line he was running, and he was really fast there at the end of that first run. So just trying to replicate what he was doing helped out a lot. So appreciate him, inadvertently teaching me that. So yeah, I mean, my other thought was just try to go a little bit longer on tires that first stint and see if I can make some ground up at the end, which seemed like it helped out too.
Well, I'm sure you can send a nice thank you card to Jeremy Gardner, and you might end up with a coaching invoice from him. But well, now you're looking pretty good for standings in the Championship 4. What's it going to take next week? And after that, who do you have to thank?
As far as next week at Talladega, I'm going to have to find a golden horseshoe or something to borrow from somebody, because it seems like anytime I race there, I either finish on the podium or I finish in the hot dog stand, one or the other. So hopefully it's that first one and not the second one. So yeah, just try to be smart and hopefully have a good race. But appreciate y'all doing the broadcast. I know it's a lot trying to get up there and get everything running and going. And I was watching a little bit of it there while I was waiting, and y'all were doing a good job with it. So appreciate the work you're putting into it. Thanks to all of our league sponsors, admins putting all the work in. And I know I'm missing league sponsors, but I've been feeling best all night, so I'm kind of all over the place right now.
All right, well, you definitely earned everything you got tonight, and now you're looking real nice for the Championship 4 as we go to Talladega next week. We thank you for taking the time, and we hope you rest up, and we'll see you in Talladega.
I appreciate it. Have a good one.
All right, well, that'll about wrap us up here from Auto Club. It was a pretty good race. We had no cautions, but we saw some great racing. And we'll be here, same time, same place next week. It's Talladega. Who will go to the Championship 4? Find out on Goat Locker Racing on V-Speed.